Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Steph and this is Ordinary Plant Girl. If you are new here, thank you for clicking on this video, and if you are returning, thank you so much for spending more of your time with me. Spring may not officially be here, but it has sprung. The sun is shining, the temperatures are warm, all the plants are showing some kind of growth, and I'm so excited for it. But today, what I wanted to do, I think I mentioned it in my last video, but I can't remember now because that's how stressful things have been. But today I wanted to show you guys my Monstera collection. So if that is something you are interested in, please stick around. Don't know where I was planning to start with this. So I think I don't have very many Monsteras. I have 7, but I have multiples of a couple of them. So I'm going to kind of show you what's going on with those multiples. So let's start with my Monstera Picana. Now I have actually had this plant here for a really long time. She's had her issues. Right now I'm just trying to kind of get her to trail. It's taken quite a lot to get her to even this point. She was doing really well. I think it was the year before last. And then when I made the move downstairs, she didn't take it well. So I've been attempting to propagate her, and I haven't had the most luck with the propagations, but I did get this one. So I do have this one that's growing up a pole. I did want to have one trailing and one growing up a pole just so I could see how it would actually do. I mean, if I'm honest, I definitely prefer it trailing, but I would like to see if it will get the fenestrations by crawling up the pole. So that's just a little experiment that I have going on. That's why I have 2 of them. One of the things I'm trying to do is not have multiples of plants, but yet I do find that I have multiples of plants that I really like. So that's going to be a little bit of a problem. But we'll see. If I don't like the way this is growing, and actually I should probably tuck it in another strap. If you can see there, it's just pulling a little bit away. I'll tuck it in there and, I mean, see what I can do. I would just love to see that happen, but the leaves are getting smaller. So, excuse me. It might need a good feed, and on top of that, it was well, it was neglected, not gonna lie. This one has just, it's kind of quirky and I really like it. But yeah, so these are my Monstera Picanas. Okay, this next one I've had for coming up to 4 years now. 4 years in April I've had this one. And it was actually about 2 feet tall, wrapped around a pole. I did do a few videos where I've attempted to propagate this. This is another one that was really difficult for me to propagate, but that is my Monstera Selana. So this is one of my favorite Monsteras. It is very slow growing for me. I don't know why, but it kind of always has been. And it's everything I've propagated. I think I took 4 or 5 propagations when I finally cut this plant down, and only one of those took, and I have now given that one away. So this is definitely my mother plant. I've had no issues with this one whatsoever, but it has definitely been one of my favorites to grow, even though it has also been one of the slowest growing ones. I can't even imagine what my collection would be without this one. But I do notice, oh no. Okay, I don't know. Great. I don't know if you can see this, but right down here, that's a leaf. And it looks like it might get a little stuck. So I'm gonna have to get it out of there and hope that it doesn't end up in the pole. But at least now you can see it close up. Like, the variegation on this plant I love so much. But yeah, that's my Monstera Selana. Okay, now this next one is one that I don't even hear anybody talk about anymore. I remember back then I tried so hard to find one, and I was so happy when I did. And it has been a little bit of a problem child, but it's the Monstera Peru. Now, this one for me died all the way back until it only had one leaf, and then it only had 2 leaves for over a year. And just recently it gave me this new leaf here. This plant was living in perlite for an abnormally long amount of time too, because it just wouldn't grow. I didn't have root rot issues, but it just wouldn't grow. So I put it in perlite, and it sat there and it lived in there until it put out this leaf. And then that's when I decided that it obviously needed more nutrients, more love and care. And I finally decided to put it in a mix. This is soil and tree fern fiber because it is a Monstera, so I wanted to kind of be careful of that. And it does have a perlite layer at the bottom. And I've found so far that that has been working really well. And I'm at this point just trying to keep it alive. I honestly don't even know if I want it anymore. But I'm determined, I think because of the fact that I have so few Monsteras, that I do want to keep this one, and I would love to have like a big bushy Monstera Peru. So that is that one here. I think that was my 3rd Monstera. Okay, this next one is the newest one to my collection. And it was one that I didn't even realize I wanted, but it came at a decent price, and that is my Monstera Ora. So you can see it doesn't have a lot of variegation. This is the newest leaf here, and it's just got the variegation down here on the tip. But this one actually rotted all the way back. I didn't even think it was going to survive. I did not think that it had enough, kind of enough surface area for an aerial root to come out, anything like that. So I put it in water, and I waited for it to kick out this leaf. And then once it did, I put it in soil, and you can see now. Hopefully you can see. I'm not sure with the glare, but we do have quite a bit of roots that are loving life in there right now. So I'm really excited that this one lived. I don't know a lot about the Oreas, but I can tell you that she's pregnant right here. I'm gonna get another one, another leaf. So, well, I'm super excited about that too. And what I don't know is if I'm gonna put it on a pole, a stake, or just kind of let it do its thing. I will probably put it on a pole just to make sure that I can keep it somewhat uniform. But I'm so happy that I got this one and I brought it into my collection, even though it's low variegation. I can't wait to see what we've got on this one, because I can't really tell by the stem or by the petiole. I can't tell. So it's just going to be a surprise, and in the end, if it turns out to just be green, I'll figure it out, I'll manage. But right now I have a Monstera Ora, and I'm just gonna hope that the next one comes out with some more variegation, and I will definitely keep you guys in the loop with that too. But yeah, that is Monstera number 4. This next group of Monsteras I have 3 of, or more like I have 2.5 of. We'll just say 2.5. So there is a little bit of a story behind this. So I'll show you the first one. This is my Monstera Thae constellation. Okay, so this is part of my original Thae constellation that I got back in 2020. It was February of 2020. So we've had consistent problems with growth. Root rot was an issue, or actually root rot was the last issue. That's why I ended up cutting this plant down and propagating it. But I did have just different types of growth problems. A leaf broke. There was a thrips outbreak that had completely destroyed the newest leaf that had shown up on this plant. You can still see a little bit of damage from it, but I then cut this plant down, and literally it only had maybe 5 leaves. I was surprised to have those 5. But this was the top cutting. This is the newest leaf that came out of here. You know, I'm happy that it survived. I'm happy that I still have this Thae that I did get in 2020. I'm seeing root growth, and the root growth looks pretty good. I don't know if you can tell. They're all nice and white and healthy, which is a bonus. So out of the, how many propagations did I take? I think there were, oh yeah, so how did that go? Yeah, there were 5 leaves. This one's the newest one. So this was the top cut with these 2 leaves. I had 2 other leaf cuttings, and then I think I had 2 node wet sticks. So I had 2 wet sticks. No leaves, just pieces of the stem. And this one has survived, and I'm going to show you the next one that made it through. So this is the one where I'm saying I have 2.5, because this one is actually going away. It won't be living with me much longer. I'm just waiting for it to pop out another leaf. So this is the leaf that was on the cutting, and then this is the new leaf that it popped out. The roots on this one too are looking good. I did put this one in a tree fern fiber soil mix too. Again, has just a perlite layer on the bottom. I find I have a lot of success with that, so this one's looking pretty good. I'm just keeping a close eye on it, and then this leaf is yellowing off, and once it gets to the point where it's just too yellow, I'll just cut it off. I just want to make sure that this little leaf here is stable. The other one's died. I think I do still possibly have a wet stick up there, but I feel like that one died too. So, needless to say, as insurance, in case all of them died, because as you know, I have problems apparently propagating monsteras, I bought this one. Now this one I got for a good deal. It was $69, and then it was also 30% off. So I had to get it. Now this is the newest leaf here, but you can already tell that the tip has browned off. It hasn't traveled any further. It's just kind of stayed there. But this leaf came out shortly after I got this one, and I do have a nice fluffy white root that's coming out right there, so it's looking pretty happy. I do have them in 2 separate spots, but again, I love the Thae so much, and I wanted to make sure that once I cut that one down, I just didn't want to be without one. So now I've got these 3 for now, and that is my Thae constellation. Okay, so I've got 2 more monsteras left. This one I'm going to pick up off the floor. You have seen them before, possibly. If you've watched previous videos, you have seen them before. But we're going to take a look at them now. So this here is my Monstera Subpanata. Now, this Monstera as well has been very, very hard to propagate. Every propagation I have taken off this plant has died. Whether it's a wet stick or a leaf cutting, it has died. So that's why here you can see just all this space right here. Because I don't want to cut it. I'm terrified of cutting it. I don't want, I just don't want to kill it. But what I am going to do, I think, is I'm going to put it in a taller pot. I'm going to try and submerge a little bit more of this stem, and I'm going to put it on a taller stake. So, you know, it's not going to have the aerial roots attach to the stake or anything like that, and I don't want it on a moss pole. I mean, even if I put it on a moss pole now, all of this stuff down here would just not attach to the moss, so it would just be loose anyway. But at the same time, though, let me know if you think that would probably be a good idea, because maybe I should put it on a moss pole. The moss pole would already have to be extended, but if I can get the aerial roots to attach and kind of treat it like it's air layering, then I'd be able to start it over, wouldn't I? But I like how quirky it is. I just love how just the top of this has got like leaves on it. But it's definitely one of my favorite Monsteras, and I think I just got this as something interesting. When did I get this one? August 2021. So I've had this one about 2.5 years, almost 3 years. And I can't say it's been one of my favorites. I guess I kind of have to say that it's sat there. I've forgotten about it. But it's like you could do no wrong to this plant except try and cut it up. It didn't like that. I think this is going to be one of the ones that I work with. It's not a neglected plant because he's not neglected. He's constantly looked at. But he definitely needs a little bit of help. So let me know, should I put it on a moss pole and see what happens? See if these leaves might possibly get bigger? I don't know. I don't know how big they're supposed to get, actually. But I do like the size they're at, and I think they're super cute. But yeah, so this is my Monstera Subpanata. Okay, now my last Monstera, which a lot of you will probably have as a staple in your own homes, is going to be the Monstera Deliciosa. Now I do have two of them. I have a propagation of my big one, which is just this little guy here. No fenestrations yet, and that's fine. It's actually growing really well, surprisingly enough. It did start out as just a wet stick. I lost a few leaves along the bottom, but it seems to be growing pretty well. It's got this big chunky root right here, which I have a feeling is just going to keep traveling down. But it's not bad. It does have a little damage on it, pest damage, so you know. The thrips are real when it comes to the Monstera. And because this was a propagation of that plant, I also had that problem with this one. But I did get in my beneficial mites, so they are traveling along and they're just eating all the little thrips critters that could possibly be on here. It was that time of year, and I'm glad I got them. And it's interesting how plants register to the beneficial bugs being on them. I mean, yes, I know we're getting more light, it's spring and everything, but it's almost like the few plants that I have that had a problem with thrips are just like growing exponentially right now when they were stunted. So I do like having my beneficial bugs. I do get them 2 to 3 times a year, and then I don't use them in the winter. But yeah, so this is just a propagation of my big mama. And we'll put her back. Now I'm going to take you over to my semi-big one. Okay, here is the largest Monstera in my collection. So if any of you have been here before, you would have seen this girl sits in the background of some of my videos. And if you watched my last one, my 7 largest and easiest houseplants, she would be in there too. So she could be bigger. I've had her for a long time. She's got some growth happening down here. And I don't know what's going on down there, but I'm still waiting to see if it pops out something new. But she's had her troubles and now is bouncing back. I will always have a Monstera in my possession. That's why I took a propagation in case this one went downhill. But I am fighting for her. I'm always fighting for her. And hopefully she grows back really well this summer. Once I do a few light changes in here, hopefully she will just become even bigger and better. Those are all the Monsteras in my collection at the present moment. I would still like to get a Monstera Burle Marx Flame. I would love to get one of those. And I did have a Monstera Pinnata Partita at one point in time, but that one died. So Hopefully I can find another one of those somewhere down the road. And I think I might try and see if I can find some other interesting Monsteras. I honestly don't know how many there could be in this genus, but I'm sure there's more than 10. There has to be. So with all that being said, I hope you're all safe and well. Please like and consider subscribing to my channel. Leave any comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!